Hello guys, this is Chirodip and today we're gonna start about Hibernate framework tutorial series, and in this tutorial you're gonna learn about the basics of Hibernate and why it is actually uses in the Java and why it is so popular. So as you can see, the first point of Hibernate tool is the ORM actually. This is actually a tool and it's added into the Hibernate over the years, and it's used in the data layer of application. And as you can see that when you will be using the data layer of any application, or you will be adding some data into your database, so it will be an added advantage to use the ORM tool. Now, what is the implementation of JPA? So JPA stands for Java Persistence API, and this is a set of standards that is defined in order to any sort of persistence implementation that needs to be met in order to get certified of Java API implementation. It follows the rules actually. It can in Java persistence API we can use some sort of rules so that later if you don't use Hibernate or any other framework then you have to just require any sort of minimal code changes so that your code remains almost the same 80%. So why we are using the Hibernate? Let's get into this. Now, as you can see that I have just implemented an user class over here, and it has a set of 5 columns. Now, for that is a ID, name, address, phone, and date of birth, and one table is there, and for that of every user we will be generating one set of data into this table. So it's a in a running application. Say I have 5 users. Let's take 5 users as a beginning approach, and data of that those 5 users are simultaneously wants to add the data into their corresponding table. So of the 5 user object, 99% of the time you have to use RDBMS as of till now as a beginner or as a native approach we use RDBMS. So I have to use a user table over here, and I have to save the data in the table. Let's say user object number 1 saved row number 1, and user object number 2 saved row number 2, like this. So 5 user object of every user object you will be saving the data in each row of your table. So a class corresponds to a table, and the object basically corresponds to a row of table in your say in your Java application where you are defining one class. There the one class is represent to the one table, and the object of that class corresponds to the row of a table. Now we're doing this over a couple of years now, this approach, and this is a very hectic approach, and often we get our head involved very much so that we get a proper implementation. Now here comes the main problems of this practical approach. We need to map the member variables of your application actually. So let's say I have to put extra effort to change any sort of insertion. If any extra column comes or insertion comes, then we have to manually also change each and every object. So we have to map each and every member variables to your table, from your class to that particular table of that particular user object. So this is a very hectic feature of using RDBMS. Now mapping relationship also as a problem. Mapping is a big problem actually when handling manually. You have to address your map into your address column. You have to address your date of birth, user ID, password, each and every of your column of your set of data, and you have to address this into your table. So this is a very problem. This is a big problem when you are handling a lot of large amount of data manually and writing code of each of them and putting into your database. So it's getting a problem of mapping relationship. And say suppose this gets more complex when you have interdependency, primary key and foreign key, and you have to implement those in a manual order, so that all the database concept remain constant according to your project. So that comes a very complex feature. Now handling data type is also a complex feature. Let's say in our project or in your project also, let's say you have a data type called as boolean. So as we know that boolean takes only true or false. So but in maximum database, 99% database, there is no certain field called boolean, because we're gonna be using in maximum database SQL language. So in SQL there is no sort of boolean kind of data type. So uh, you have to manually interchange the data type, and you have to just the database does not have different data types, most of them. And let's take the example of this boolean, and in boolean not present in maximum database, so we have to main manually actually handle those conversion. So again this conversion comes to be very complex for each and every data type of like this, because only you have string, char, numbers and all those stuff. But when it becomes various data types, so you have to just convert them manually into your own. So there comes a big problem of that. And again manually changes to object state is also a very problem. Let's say I pull up a user ID ABC123 from a database, and I have a record set, and I have inserted all the data in the object, and I have the object ready to be inserted. Now when I passed on to the business server machine, it changes the database, and according to my requirement it gives the input to the database. Now for this business server handling process, you have to again write the code or the script. You have to insert your database into your database tables. So again this comes a very complex feature, and it updates some email, or if it updates some email or phone number, or it suppose it change any column, or you alter the table with any column, you have a requirement to add extra column after few of your execution, so then it becomes very complex. So the database schema has to be changed after that. So for manually handling this sort of problems, it becomes very complex in modern day systems. So for that we can get help from the Hibernate. Here comes the uses of Hibernate actually. Hibernate creates object of the class what you have mentioned, and it actually maps to the relational database of your database. It automatically maps your relational database, and it gets easily implemented in your database. So this is a very fundamental idea of what is Hibernate actually is all about, and what is tasks to do, and why it is invented actually. So from next tutorial onwards, we will be having implementation of this Hibernate framework, and we will see the practical approach, how it is actually practically implemented in your code snippet. And I hope you have a brief idea about what is the Hibernate and why it comes, why it is invented. And that's all for this tutorial. I hope you like it, and have a nice day.